If you have ever felt that you are holding yourself back, if you are self sabotaging, if you are not letting yourself have success or have breakthroughs or to achieve something that you know you want, and you are putting obstacles on your own path, procrastination, self sabotage, and much deeper ways of holding yourself back through any of these spiritual or practical achievements, this is the video to watch. I invite you for the next half an hour or so, let go of all distractions, pay full attention and watch this video and really absorb this teaching because it's going to change your life. This is so insightful, and it's not just a teaching with words, but there's a deeper energy that you can tune into that's going to transform you. And it's going to save years of getting stuck and held back with your own self-sabotage keeping you from moving forward. So I'm going to talk about why this happens, what's the deeper spiritual teaching behind that, and how you can actually make this a beautiful insight that changes your life in so many ways. The implications of this are so far reaching. So watch this to the end with full attention and let's get right into it. Hello, my name is Ranajher, and I want to talk today about something that you may be facing right now. Whenever you want to make some progress, you feel opposition. You feel some sort of failure. You see, there is this force in you that is resisting progress. You have the intention to make a breakthrough, to push through something, to achieve something, but at the same time, there is a part of you feel doesn't want you to achieve it. Something that doesn't just move forward. Have you had this before? Do you know what I mean? This has been, in my experience, again and again, whenever I want to do something that changes my current status quo. And I've heard this from my students, from people I've helped, hundreds of people over a decade with spiritual awakening, especially whenever somebody wants to make some spiritual progress or do something that is powerful for them, anything that may have the effect of deep transformation, a part of them says, maybe let's do that later. Maybe let's do something else. Maybe let's put that off. Maybe let's do something that's easier, quicker, funner. Even though something in you knows that this is the step you want to take, there is something that wants to sabotage your progress on that. Have you noticed this in your own life? Maybe it's not just the spiritual stuff. It's also when you want to do this with your job. You want to maybe get a different job with a higher rate or more convenient or something that suits your career, or you want to make a change in one of your relationships in some way, or you see you have to change something with your habits, your belief systems. And that resistance comes up in various ways. It's internal and external. And they are reflections of each other, which I'll talk about more as we go on deeper into this. But you may see internally, it's like you want to put it off for, no particular reason, but externally there is something that reflects that by giving you an excuse to do this at a later time, an excuse to put it off. Like, for example, right down to the second when I started, setting up for this recording, I had somebody start a machine loudly working on something, maintaining the garden, like right down to the moment. And I'm like, that's interesting. And this is what we call opposition. Opposition. There's something that tries to oppose your progress. Something external that comes up and says, no, I won't allow you to do that. But when you meet that opposition, something happens. So what I did immediately is instead of just staying here and saying, whenever I try to do this, nothing happens, and something comes up, which a part of my mind presents as the story. Like you may have observed in your own mind, you're like, oh, whenever I try to do anything good, nothing works out. That story comes up, right? But instead of listening to the story, if you put your awareness into it, look at it, explore it, see what's actually happening, which I did by getting out and seeing what's actually happening. And my friend who's here to help with the garden was running this pressure washer machine. And as soon as I asked him what's going on, he actually told me, oh, actually, it's not working as I expected. So maybe I won't do this anymore. Somehow it resolved. Like magically. I was expecting this to go on for an hour or two, because usually when somebody does some lawn mowing or whatever, it takes a while. But when I actually went and saw what's happening, just the act of putting my awareness on it dissolved that. The deeper principle here is not the story of what is happening. I didn't interfere with the work, what was happening really, but because this is a dream that we are having, where internal and external are mirrors to each other, when we put our awareness on the source of opposition, whether internally or externally, something shifts in this dream. Just like in an actual dream, when you're, sleeping, not this waking up dream that we are having, which I talk about. It's a deep principle of how everything is a dream, right? Everything is a very fluid reality that depends on how you perceive it. So in a sleeping dream, when you actually look at anything in that dream, like even your own palm, I want you to try this if you're open to it. Remember to kind of do this as you go to sleep. You have the intention very strongly that, oh, whenever I dream, I'm going to look at my hand. I'm going to, as soon as I'm aware that I'm dreaming, I'm going to look at my palm, whichever palm. So you can actually do this in real life. This works very well. Every now and then, look at your palm. In waking life, every now and then, look at your palm. Maybe you can do one hand, whichever is your dominant hand. I'll look at my palm. Whenever you remember, every 20 minutes or so, oh, this is my palm. And you will tend to do that in your dream too. And what happens when you actually do that is it shifts. In your sleeping dream, it's very apparent how it shifts because that kind of dreaming is much more fluid, much more temporary. All sorts of things are changing all the time, very quickly. But this waking dream has more of a solid nature to it. It seems like. So, but the same thing applies. As above, so below. As within, so without. Right? So, when you look at your palm in your dream, you'll see like, oh, it's swirling, it's changing, all sorts of colors. What's happening? And then you realize, oh, it's just a dream. And then you look at something else and you can change it. You can use your will to change it. So what is happening is a reflection of an external circumstance coming up in your life to reflect an inner resistance to change. Make sense? Follow me here. This is very important and subtle point. So life gives you a choice whether to continue down the path of change that is powerful or to maintain the status quo. So life wants you to be sure, just in case. Are you really sure you want to change your life? And if you say yes, not just by like having that beautiful intention, I want to change my life, but also in the moment when the change is ready to happen, to make that choice again and again and again. Because it's not just once that you do it, but every moment. In the now moment when that change is ready to happen, in that very dynamic, seemingly chaotic, beautiful, vibrant, transforming moment, you have to say yes again and again. Especially when you're about to take that step. Beginnings are very important, just like endings. That's a whole other topic. I can make a whole other video about how beginnings and endings are very important. But beginnings, especially when you are about to start on that journey, there is a time of power where you make a decision and say, yes, I actually want to make this change happen. It's a conscious creator decision. You are the conscious creator of your life. Conscious or unconscious, you are the creator of your life. You can be a conscious creator if you bring awareness to how you're creating your life. Or if you are in default mode, you're sleepwalking through life, which, it need not be on or off. You could be doing it to a certain degree. How conscious are you in your creation? Depends on how much awareness you bring to this process of creation. And this is one example which will really let you see. I was talking to one of my students. I was pointing out something to a student of mine who has been a student for a long time, but she's had her ups and downs with this journey, where every time she's about to step up into a very transformative, powerful phase of her spiritual awakening, she does that, she walks into it, and as soon as it starts working, as soon as she feels, oh, now it's time to take off and go into the next level, there is something which comes up and says, oh my God, no. This is too much. This is happening too fast. I don't know how to deal with this. And that fearful part that doesn't feel safe with all the change starts speaking out and says, maybe let's take a step back. Maybe let's do this later. Maybe let's pause this journey for a while. And find some excuse, something in the external world that comes up as a way of like, hey, actually, Ra, I wanted to do this, but this happened and that happened. And I see this pattern again and again and again. This is one of the biggest patterns that I notice. Because what we are doing through this journey of spiritual awakenings is so powerful. It's so important. This is the most important thing in your life, you see, because this is the foundation of who you are. This changes everything, literally changes everything, because no matter what else you do, you could do whatever job you want, you could be in whatever relationship you want, you can have whatever material stuff, success and achievements you want. But your relationship with yourself, your awakening to who you are, changes all of that. How you relate to everything changes by how you relate to yourself. How you see everything else changes depending on how you see yourself, how you relate to yourself. And that core identity, that core story of who you are, that core understanding of the self-knowledge is such a monumental shift that, because it's so fundamental and the consequences are so far reaching, is why there is so much hesitation, so much resistance. The comfort zone for it seems pretty limited for a lot of people. That's why they don't want to look within. That's why they continue to distract themselves and look outside and blame something on the outside and try everything to run away. And I'm not new to this myself. I have gone through a lot of it. In fact, my understanding of this at a deeper level is because I've done all that myself for so long. So this is from my own experience. I'm not pointing fingers like, oh, you're doing this, you're doing that. It's all based on my self-sabotage again and again, that I have educated myself in my own personal experience, watching my own mind, watching my own patterns, sometimes for years without being able to break through it, and then staring at it, then becoming aware of it at some point. I'm like, wow, this is what has been happening. Something clicked. By the grace of my teachers, my mentors, my spiritual path, the blessings that I have received somehow made me see what I couldn't see for so long. And that's why I'm paying this forward and talking about this. So it could help you right now to make a breakthrough that you want in your heart so much. You feel the need for this, you have this yearning for this spiritual depth that is calling you. The depth that you are is inviting you again and again to stop just being at the surface, because you're not really living your life fully. And something in you is like, come on, there is so much more to life. And you feel that. And you're not satisfied with the surface level stuff anymore, even though you have a beautiful life and, you know, from the outside everything looks good. Something is saying there's more to life than this. And yet there is this opposition that is like an invitation. When you see the right way, that opposition is there as a mechanism to actually make sure that you want to accept this invitation. It's a rite of passage, so to say. It's a filter so that you make a conscious choice. Otherwise, just by wishing something, if you were to change your life would have too many changes. It's hard to keep track, right? So life gives you an opportunity to think through your choices and help you really have a deeper consideration of your choice. But it can be much easier. You don't need to go through this, in a difficult way. It's all about bringing your awareness to it. And taking small actions sometimes. In my example, I went out and spoke to the person that physically brought up the obstacle to do something that was powerful. Recording this video. And that physical action had a inner reflection of examining my choice of doing this work, which is teaching, spiritual. This is my spiritual practice, to teach. Because as I teach, I learn. As I teach, I deepen. As I teach, I'm also the student. The better I am as a teacher, the better I am as a student of life itself. And that choice that I made, saying, yes, I actually want to do this, opened something up. It actually became the subject of this video too. Right? And life is so beautiful how it works mysteriously like this. Because you don't need to know all the details. You don't need to know how it's going to happen. You don't need to hassle with the little tiny step-by-step procedures of how to make the change happen, because in this dream all you have to do is have the will and the dream changes. Just like in your sleeping dreams, if you've ever tried to become conscious in your dream and do something like fly or go to some other place, you don't need to know how to flap your wings or fly like Superman. It just happens. The dream changes. If you want to appear in a certain place in your dream, somehow, whatever change needs to happen kind of happens. Somebody takes you there, or you fly there, or you walk there, whatever. Very similarly, in your waking dream, the same will that you have for change brings in all the changes and energies that support that change to somehow mysteriously, by whatever people that need to support you, whatever resources that need to support you, happens. For example, for me, this was when I felt this deep calling to be alone in the mountains. This was several years ago. When I was going through this spiritual awakening phase of like, I just want to be in solitude with myself. And no matter when I tried to do that, I was living in a South Indian city called Bangalore, if you know Bangalore. And it's a busy city. And even when I was alone by myself, I felt the energy of people around me. So I had this deep yearning for solitude in my heart. I wanted to be alone in the mountains. And just, I said yes to that. I was like, okay, I'll do whatever I can to do that. And that will in me somehow created a situation where my father, who's a healer, and he was a popular person as a spiritual teacher too. And he was invited to come to Nepal and he decided to take me with him to help out as a volunteer and all that. And I said, just book me a one-way ticket for the conference that he was invited to. So I went there. And after everybody left after the conference, I had the most beautiful and transformative experience in the mountains of Nepal. And it was such a profound spiritual transformation in that solitude high in the mountains, which really fed my soul, which really quenched that thirst for solitude so deeply. So you see here, the first life gives you that yearning, it puts that in your heart or creates situations outside of you which makes you want to yearn for something. And when you say yes to that invitation, that desire, that deeper calling, when you say yes to that, then life gives you the resources or the way to make that happen. So this is truly life working with life, life dancing with life. You are life. You're not separate from life. And you are acting through the external situations in life from a deeper place as the creator. So you are interacting with yourself, externalized through all these different mirrors. And this whole process is so that you can understand who you truly are, really know, experientially realize who you truly are, that you are the creator of all of this. So this rabbit hole goes quite deep. Why are you facing opposition? The answer is truly beautiful. You see, the answer is liberating. The true answer is because you are here to discover who you are that you put these obstacles on your path so that you can overcome these obstacles, and in that process of working with this, working through this journey, working through these puzzles that life puts in front of you, in that process you can discover who you are. Just like how you play a video game and you know the puzzles that come up in the video game, the obstacles when you're playing Mario or whatever Dungeons and Dragons, right? I mean, whatever game that you create for yourself, and you play that game not, for an external reason that you want to play this game. Who cares about this game? You know it's made up, but you do it because you want to know yourself. The deeper motivation is going through that journey brings self-knowledge, self-discovery. It's true about most other things that we do, directly or indirectly, that we just want to know ourselves or know what we are not in some way. And the best way to do it is bring your attention to it as directly as possible. Bring your clear light of awareness to see what's actually happening. And then, as the creator, things resolve. So that is my invitation to you today. And I invite you to do this in something small. You don't need to do this in huge big things. You can, but start with something small. Start with a small resistance that does not allow you to maybe to clean your room, or maybe to reach out to somebody that you feel the need to reach out to. And it's okay if you have been kind of stuck for a while with these things. Forgive yourself. Don't blame yourself for not making progress. All that matters is that you come back to it again and again, even when you fail. Your failures don't matter. It's all right. It's good to fail. Fail as many times as you want. But what matters is that you continue to persist despite all those failures. I know, because I've made all sorts of mistakes. I've been stuck for long times in things. And I have never been perfect. That's the fun of it, actually. And because of that, I've learned. Because of these failures, I have seen what it means to succeed. So I invite you to make a commitment to come back to the path again and again. And if all this resonates with you, I'm here to offer you my help, because it can be hard to do it by yourself. It can be confusing. It can be overwhelming sometimes. So it really helps when you have some guidance. So I invite you to have some clarity and insight from an external perspective. When you talk to a friend, when you talk to a mentor, the way you see things can completely change your life. So I invite you to a free spiritual consultation call. And this is not a pushy sales call or anything, but just a very powerful way to look at your spiritual path. and see what's the right next step for you. And if we can help you with my integrated awakening mentorship, I am for short, and our community, you'll get to know about it. If it's the right thing for you, you can join. Of course, you're very welcome. But even if you don't do, you know, anything like getting into a mentorship or joining a community, even if you just come to see yourself more clearly through this free call, it's going to change your life. Possibly. It has changed people's life very powerfully. Just bringing your awareness to your spiritual path in the right way through this conversation. So I invite you to do that. There's a link in the description if you would like to explore that. It's free. You can try it out. And you have nothing to lose. So that's my invitation to you as a helping hand to offer you some support on your spiritual journey. And if you'd like to watch another video which talks about what else you can do, which is a powerful and quick way to transform your awareness in any situation, I invite you to watch this video next. It's going to be applicable probably exactly where you are. So go here next if you want to watch another video. Thank you so much for watching. Namaste. Bye-bye.